About 12 years ago, my husband Tyler and I moved from our first apartment near central Austin out into the west suburbs of the city. We bought a new construction home and we spent a lot of time exploring the Dripping Springs area and the area near Lake Travis. And we noticed there were some big differences between the two, even though they're both beautiful areas. But after comparing them, we were able to settle on the one that was the right fit for us. So in this video, I'm going to do the same thing for you. I'm going to break down all the differences that we explored so you can decide whether Dripping Springs or Lake Travis is the right fit for your family. Now, in case you don't know me, I'm Shannon Manjan. I run a small real estate team with my husband, Tyler, and we specialize with helping families just like yourself make that move into the hill country suburbs west of Austin. And to be clear, in this video, when I talk about Lake Travis, I'm referring to the area that encompasses all of Lake Travis Independent School District. So that includes Lakeway, Bee Cave, parts of Spicewood, and West Austin. And when I refer to the Dripping Springs area, I mean all of Dripping Springs ISD, which includes the town of Dripping Springs, parts of Driftwood, and Southwest Austin. So let's dive in. We're gonna start first of all with the vibe, because that's the thing you just feel when you visit those areas. So in the Lake Travis area, think of it as having a more luxury resort style feel. You've got everything that you could possibly want at the Hill Country Galleria area and also along 620. There's tons of restaurants, there's a shopping mall, you've got 5 different grocery stores. So there's 2 H-E-Bs, a Randall's, a Target, a Whole Foods, and a Trader Joe's. So lots of options. And you also have some luxury style amenities. So there's tons of golf courses if you're a golfer. You have easy access to Lake Travis. There's private marinas as well as public parks where you can access the lake. So if that sounds like your vibe, you want access to all these things and still feel like you're out in the hill country, then the Lake Travis area is probably the right match for you. Dripping Springs, on the other hand, is going to have more of a smaller town rural feel, which a lot of people love. It definitely has a hill country vibe. So think more small local businesses, mom and pop shops. There's tons of distilleries, wineries. There's an olive oil farm. There's a honey farm. And you're so close to other places like Fredericksburg or Wimberley. So you have this small town Texas charm, big, beautiful rolling hills, but you're lacking like a big shopping mall. Right now there's an H-E-B grocery store where you can get your groceries, and there will be a Target coming soon, but you don't have a Whole Foods or some of the other things that the Lake Travis area has. You're also going to be a little farther from the lake, no big golf courses. But if you like just the idea of being on your back patio, then Dripping Springs could be right up your alley. Next, let's talk about homes and pricing, because this can make a huge difference for a lot of families. So Lake Travis is definitely more expensive than Dripping Springs. For example, to get into a new construction, just entry-level home as a first-time buyer, or maybe as a retiree who's downsizing, you can expect to find something maybe around the $550 to $600 mark for like a small 3-bed, 2-bath home. There's homes that go way into the multi-million range, especially if they have lake views. So one of the newer construction communities right now is Provence. That would be kind of your probably entry-level new construction community. And there's not a lot of new builds in the area, which is something that's also kind of keeping the prices a little bit higher. Now, by contrast, Dripping Springs is exploding with new construction. So there's lots of builder competition, a lot more choices and price ranges. At the entry level, there's 3 communities. There's Big Sky Ranch, there's Heritage, and Cannon Ranch, where you can find a cute 3-bed, 2-bath home for about $400,000 or so. And the tax rates are really low in some of those areas. Now you can also spend $1 million, $1.5 million and get a beautiful home on a ½ acre in places like Parton or other established communities like High Point or Calaterra. So there's more room if you want bigger yard sizes, and there's more affordability options of different price ranges in Dripping Springs. I have a quick question for you. Would you rather pay a little bit more, maybe have a slightly smaller home to be close to all the shopping and the golf courses and the lake? Or would you rather save a little more money and be further out but get more land, more home for your money out in Dripping Springs? Drop a comment below. I read everyone. I just love to know which area interests you the most. Now let's talk about schools. Both districts are similar in the sense that they're smaller districts compared to like Austin ISD or Leander ISD. Each one only has one high school, although both are expanding and growing rapidly, and they have plans to have a second high school in the near future. There's lots of beautiful elementary school campuses that are popping up as the communities grow. And there's also a few middle schools that all have decent ratings. Of course, I can't tell you which school is the best. I don't have children, and as a real estate agent, I can't go into like my personal opinions of schools, but you can definitely look up the schools online and kind of get your own feel. Now, what I can tell you from a lot of our clients who have moved from out of state is that they rave about how amazing the schools are. They're actually shocked. And in some cases, we've had families that move from big cities like Chicago and LA, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have to pay for private school anymore because the elementary schools are so good and the class sizes are so small. It's just like what I was paying for private schools back in their other city. So that's been kind of a surprising way that they've saved money on their transition over here, is just being able to lean in and embrace the public school system. They appreciate the smaller class sizes, especially at the elementary levels, and also how tight-knit the communities and the neighborhoods are. They feel like they really belong and they have a good sense of community. Now, as far as commute, depending on where you live in Lake Travis, you can get neighborhoods that are about 30 or so minutes going down Highway 71, Southwest Parkway. You can get to downtown Austin and Dripping Springs. There are some communities that are closer in, like Parton, that's about a 25-minute commute. But with 290 being under construction, that can definitely make it a little bit longer on the Dripping Springs side. Of course, you can time your commute if you have to go a little earlier or a little bit later after the school zones. A lot of people make it work. And what we also find is that a lot of families who are choosing to move out in these two areas have the option of working remotely or maybe only commuting in a couple of times a week. So where did Tyler and I decide to move when we were making this choice? Well, way back about 12 years ago, we opted for the Bee Cave area. So we moved into a neighborhood called Sweetwater. We now live in Provence. We just love the convenience of having the Galleria and everything there. At the time, Dripping Springs felt extremely rural, like way too rural for me. I like to go eat out, I like to shop, and there just wasn't a lot of shopping at the time. Now that is definitely going to change in the next few years. So if you can be patient and just wait it out, there's a lot of commercial development coming. So there's already been the development of the Belterra Village area in Dripping Springs. That's really close to the Headwaters area or Belterra. And also there's going to be a big commercial development right at the front of Headwaters off of 290. It's supposed to be similar to a Galleria with some shops and restaurants. And we'll have to see how that develops. It's not there yet. So that was probably our main reason of why we chose the Bee Cave area, is we just wanted all that convenience. But if you're trying to stay within a budget, you want lots of options for new construction homes, then I think Dripping Springs is probably the area to go to right now. That's where you get most of the new home builders, lots of choices. And like I said, I think that neighborhood and that area is going to really transform over the next few years. So if you are still deciding between these two areas, download my Hill Country's Neighborhood Guide. It's a free download, and I break down all of the popular new construction communities in both school districts, and I can really help you decide which one feels like home. And of course, if you want to talk more in depth about your situation or questions you have, you can book a 15-minute phone call with me, and I will help give you all of my honest insights and reviews of builders and neighborhoods to help you decide which one's the right fit.